What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know I said in the last video that I was going to be doing part 2 of the handbrake install, but I'm actually going to go ahead and finish up the front brakes because I have new rotors and pads for the front. And then we also have some new front lower control arms from Gktech. So these are a 4130 chromoly one-piece arm that is bent with two big sturdy heims in the back. The coilover mount, this is a cool fact about these, it's moved in 30 millimeters because on Z's and G's the full lock, your brake, the banjo bolt on your brake caliper hits your coilover, and they moved the coilover mounting point back or inward 30 millimeters to try to mitigate that issue. But we have the Gktech arms, the drilled and slotted rotors, new ceramic pads, and then over here we have the brake brackets and calipers. So I'm going to set you guys up on the tripod and I'm just going to put together the front and then we will move on. This won't really be an install video per se because it's pretty straightforward, and Gktech has an awesome how-to video on their arms. But this will probably be a quick one, just kind of a in-between video before part 2 of the handbrake. So I'm gonna prop you guys up and we'll get started. Alright guys, so we have the front brakes all set up. So we have, again, new drilled and slotted rotors, Z1 Motorsports extended wheel studs, and new ceramic pads and a different colored caliper. They're well painted, they're just not perfect, but no, they're nice. And overall, guys, I can't get over how much different just the brake system on this car is. I mean, it's a total overhaul, and I know brakes seem like they're not a huge deal, but for cars like this, they totally, I mean, it's a huge difference. So I couldn't be more stoked. But my battery is gonna die right now on the camera, so I've got to go and charge that, which is fine because I think I'm gonna take a little tiny little break, guys. So I got my battery charged back up, and we are gonna start. We're finished with the brakes, so now we are gonna start with the lower control arms. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna take out this Allen bolt. It's kind of dark in there, but there's an Allen bolt in there holding the outer tie rod in. I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna unbolt the coilover right here, and then there's two. Actually, no. I have to take off the spider brace first. So it's this brace. I think there's 8 or 10 bolts that hold that on. So I'm gonna take that off first, and then I will move on to what I was just talking about there, and I will catch back up with you then. We got that cross brace off. It's right down here under the car. We got the, I would call them trailing arms off, and I wanted to let you guys know that the arms that go, I already have one arm in, but the arms that go back to the stud, with the Gktech kit, you have to pull the, is that gonna focus? Anyways, you have to pull the cone off of that trailing arm because you reuse it on the new setup in a different spot. But yeah, so I got held up on this freaking ball joint, or the split pin for the ball joint in there. And then I thought I was done, and I ended up coming over here to this side, and I was able to get it. And then what always happens, where you just get awful excited and start working, that happened to me, and before I knew it, this arm was 80, let's say 80% the way in. I still have to do new inner tie rods. As you can see, there's quite a bit of rust there. And then this bolt, for some reason, I must have put it in upside down, because when that's all bolted to the knuckle, you can't pull that bolt out. So that's something I did probably without even thinking about it, and that bolt is stuck in the roll center correction kit. So which is fine, because I have to take out the inners anyways, but that kind of leaves me at a stopping point for tonight, which is fine. So this video will carry on to tomorrow, but I think we got a lot of great progress done. Like we got all the new front brakes put on today, and then we got half an arm on. But no, I'm stoked. I really didn't film much of anything, just because, like I said earlier, Gktech has an incredible how-to video on these arms. But just some basic points if you're just tuning in. It's a 4130 chromoly one-piece bent arm that does away with the OEM two-piece live caster setup. This is set at 8 or 9 degrees caster. Another big perk is it replaces all the rubber bushings with spherical Heim joints. They also come with these really nice rubber dust boots. So if you're like me and you street drive your car a lot, those will be nice to keep those bushings nice and clean. Also, if you're like me and you shoot off track all the time, those will also be nice, because they won't get dirt in your bushings your heim joints as much as if you didn't have them. But one thing that I'm waiting on is I'm waiting on my inner tie rods to come, and I'm not sure if I will need to run rack offset spacers. And see those two teeth on my rack right there? Most rack offset spacers will just use two little teeth that go into those two slots on the rack, and to me that doesn't seem very strong. I'm not an engineer or anything, but I plan, if I have to use rack offset spacers, I'm going to spend a little bit of extra money, and I'm going to get Weissfab's version of rack offset spacers. And instead of just dipping into those two teeth, they actually go around the whole thing, and there's two flat spots on that, and built into the rack offset space there's two flat spots, so it totally encases the outside of it, making it much stronger, in my opinion. Again, I'm not an engineer, but so yeah. But I think, other than the inner tie rods and rack offset spacers, I think this video is done. It was a short one, I'm sure, but I just want to get the braking system done before I start on the inside handbrake stuff. I'll give you a little sneak peek of that for next week's video. But oh wow, it's dark. So I've got the handbrake mocked up. My interior is completely torn apart. So yep. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you stayed this far, drop it down in the comments below what your favorite part was. If you liked something or if you disliked something, let me know. Both things help me out to create better content for you. I am still learning, but I'll see you in the next one, part 2 of the handbrake install. Peace.